Good day, good day. This is your boy, better yet your man, Markel Prines, also known as the entrepreneur. And today I want to talk to you about a topic that's actually a benefit to the entrepreneur. Now, I know I've been talking to you guys about the threats to the entrepreneur, but today we're going to do a little bit something different. This is one of the benefits to the entrepreneur. So I'm going to step back out of the glare for a second. I want you guys to, as usual, take a screenshot of the board here, because I want you to reflect on it later on. Now, once again, the title of this training is, what are we being taught? This training right here is for kids and adults. So for the kids, we need to ask ourselves, what are our children being taught in school that's going to help them become productive adults and be able to go through life and not have to struggle? Now, for adults, you got to ask yourself, what are you being taught out there in the real world? If you've gone to college, if you started into a career field, maybe something that's not really what you want to do, or something that you really do want to do, but it's just a field that you're in, a job basically, something that just pays the bills, which actually is about to lead me into the first section of this, what we call a cash flow quadrant. Now, cash flow quadrant, the first time I ever heard about this was about 5 to 10 years ago. I was introduced to this idea and concept by a gentleman by the name of Robert Kiyosaki. He's a New York Times #1 best-selling author. He wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And in that book, he talks about the two dads that he had. He actually had his real father, who was more of a traditional type of guy, who taught him to go to school, get a good education, get a job, do the 40-40 plan, which is work 40 years, 40 hours a week, and just to live off of 40% of what he actually couldn't live off of before he actually retired. And then he had his second dad, which was a great friend of his father, who was wealthy, and he taught him the concepts of the cash flow quadrant. Now, you guys can go through a deeper, more in-depth training on this cash flow quadrant online. You can actually do a Google search, and either you can search Robert Kiyosaki or you can search Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it should come up right away, because it's a very, very popular book for entrepreneurs and anyone who wants to actually learn how to create wealth. Now, if you're not into reading the book itself, you can possibly, well, I know that you can find it on YouTube. If you do a search, you can hear the audio version of it, but I definitely advise you to get your hands on it one way or another. So I just want to go through this real quick, because I find it to be very important for entrepreneurs, or people who are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs, or people who just don't know what they want to do and don't know what's really out there available to them. Now, there's 4 sections of the cash flow quadrant. Now, the first section is labeled as E for employee. Now, that's what 90+% of individuals fall into. That's the category that most people fall into. And employee means that you have a job, a job, which stands for just over broke. Now, for the majority of people that I know, whether it's friends or family, they can relate to that, because by the end of the week or every other week when they get paid and after the bills are paid, it leaves them just over broke. A second part of the quadrant is the S, which is for self-employed. That means you own a job. So not own a business, but you actually own a job. Now, I've been in that situation myself before, where I owned a job. When I was a commercial cleaning franchise owner, it was my own personal business, but it was still just another job, because I performed all the functions of the operation. I was the person that cleaned. I was the one that took care of the records and the bookkeeping and everything like that. I was the go-to for everything. So I went from being an E to being an employee to being an employee at a business that I actually own. Now, the next section gets a little bit better. It's for the B, which is the business owner. And in that, you own a system that works for you. Now in this, it says business owner, but the business owner who actually owns a system that works for them. Now that could be a couple of different things. Now, me personally, in my field of what I do now, I'm a home-based business coach and I'm a network marketing professional. So what I do is I use a system, a proven system that shows me how to leverage my time and earn a residual income from home. So whether I go to a job or go to a specific location or not, I'm still able to earn an income. Even while I'm asleep, there could be a business partner who's in another country, hours apart, different time zones, that's out there working and helping the overall team and adding to my income. So that's for the B. That's the section that you guys really want to try to navigate over towards as soon as possible. Now, the last part is the I, which stands for investor. Now, an investor, they make their money work for them. So as an investor, your money works for you. Now, I also take part in that. So not only do I earn a residual income from the home businesses that I operate, but I take some of those funds to make my money work for me. So one of the things that I do is actually save in physical 24 karat 999.9 gold bullion. So not that fake gold, or a lot of people would say jewelry gold, which it's real gold, but it's not money. You can't take it and it be used to pay off debts. Now, what I'm talking about is actual hard assets, 24 karat 999.9 gold bullion, the same gold that countries use to pay their debts. That's a form of investment. That's something that I use to protect my family against inflation and protect my money instead of putting it into a bank, which charges you a fee to have it there, and you're losing the value of your money due to inflation. So what you guys want to really do is move from here, being the employee, and go all the way around this board here. Now, if you can skip the S part, I would advise that you skip that. But everybody might not want to skip that. You might want a brick and mortar business, which would fall into the S category. Anything that would make it so that you have to spend your time actually operating a business, that you have to be in a location or be confined to something for a period of time in order to earn the income from it. That would be, even if you're a business owner, that's still considered a job. So you don't want to be there. What you want to do is, if possible, you want to go the opposite direction. You want to go over here to the B section. If you are an employee right now, if you have a great 9-to-5 that's getting you by, and that'll allow you to have some free time. I know a lot of us want to spend the free time with our family and friends, but if you could take some of that free time and then actually invest that time into the B side, which is being a real business owner who owns a system, that's where you should actually direct your time and start leveraging your time and working yourself out of the E column. Now, as a business owner who owns a system, I would say that's one of the number one things that you want to do as soon as possible. Now, you don't have to be in the direct sales, network marketing field as myself, but I would say it's one of the only industries that I can think of right off the top of my head that will allow you the freedom to be able to leverage other people's time and be able to have a team and have a system, a proven system that can work for you in order to build your war chest, your financial war chest, whether it's for early retirement or if it's to take care of the kids for their college once when they get old enough, or if it's just to go on the extra vacations. Now, after you go from here, the B section, you want to move over here to the I section as soon as possible also. So you don't want to just make your profits right there, get your residual income from a proven system, and then just throw the money away. What you want to do in turn is take a portion of those incomes, of those assets, and turn it into an investment. Now, you might not want to save in physical gold like I do, but I advise you again that that's one of the smartest things that you guys can actually do in order to protect your wealth, and it's a great investment. Gold has been here from the beginning of time, and it is real money. Now, if you don't want to invest in gold, I advise you to get with someone who, let's say, for example, a great friend of mine is a business partner, Mr. Travis Jones, who actually teaches about Forex trading. Now, he's an awesome individual to get with, and he can show you how to take some of those assets from your business, or even from being an employee, and move it down into investing into the Forex. And that will allow your money to work for you. But today, that's all I wanted to touch on real quick and simple. The cash flow quadrant, which will allow you to take your family from being just over broke to owning a system that works for you, and then in turn making your money work for you, so that no matter what age you are, if you're just getting out of high school, or if you're in your early 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s, you're coming up on the time for retirement, and you know that what you worked for all these years and what you're going to be left with come retirement is not going to cut it for you. You need to move as fast as possible through this cash flow quadrant. Preferably, I would say, avoid the regular self-employed aspect if you can, unless you have a passion for something and you don't mind putting in those hours, if you don't mind not having as much time freedom, which is something that I personally myself value more than money, and that's the time freedom. But however you like, however you want to get away from this first section as soon as possible. You want to X that out, donate that back to the economy for someone who needs it, because it's just a starting point. It's somewhere that you start off in order to make it around the board of the cash flow quadrant. So once again, hopefully this has been helpful to you guys. Encourage you guys to get with me, direct message me if you want to know exactly what it is that I do that allows me to be in this section right here as being a business owner who owns a system that works for me and allows me to earn a residual income on a monthly basis. And if you want to know what I actually invest in, how do I acquire physical gold, or any of my other business partners, if you want to get into, let's say, like the Forex trading, once again, I would say definitely look up one of my business partners, Mr. Travis Jones, who teaches about the Forex. If you want to invest in that, I definitely advise you to get with him because he's an expert at that. And I hope this has been a benefit to you, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Hey, Chief. We got us one wrong.
Already.
This that motivation right here.
Yes, sir.
You know, the people need that motivation.
Tenfold.
Everybody going through something, you know what I mean?
Already.
The system won't keep you down.
Oh, it's that motivation. Oh, keep your head up. Never should you give up, man. I